The opinions and ideas expressed in the individual interviews by the interviewee do not necessarily reflect the opinions and ideas of ourselves or our advertisers. Hello, my name is Jacob St. Aubin. I am co-heading this project titled Opposition EDU. It's a new web series. It's going to be a collection of stories and experiences from people within the LGBT community and its allies. The goal is to oppose certain stereotypes that are set to the LGBT community and educate on who we actually are as a society. I'm hoping that these interviews can be some sort of support to the kids and adults in the LGBT community that need it, to show them that other people struggle just like they do. And I'm also proud to join the fight for equality for the LGBT community. This project, each episode is going to feature a different group of people. This episode we interviewed people that identify as gay. Our next will be an episode on allies, so on and so forth. And I hope you enjoy. For our first interview, we talked to Liam Powell.
Hi, my name is Liam. I am 20 years old. I am the programs coordinator here at the LGBT Center. I identify as a gay man.
And when did you first know?
When I was 11 years old.
How did you know?
It was the first year I did band, and my band director was his first year teaching. He was 22 years old, Mr. Meeker, and I fell in love with him. But I've always, kind of known. I mean, I played with Barbies when I was little. My twin brother played with G.I. Joes, so I'm sure there's something to do with that. I lost all my guy friends, for the most part. One of my best friends, especially that hurt my feelings a lot. And, girls were fine with it. Actually, when I came out, I was 13, so I was, in 7th grade. So, I mean, a lot of girls at that point, I think they mature a lot faster than guys do. So girls, they want a gay best friend, you know what I mean? So that was fine. But the guys, which was a huge blow to me because I ran cross country and stuff like that. So I was really close with them, and I felt really excluded throughout the rest of the time in school. My grandfather's an old hippie, he could care less. Peace, love, whatever. But my grandmother, I mean, I was raised as a Christian, and I still identify as a Christian. And so that's my biggest struggle here in the Christian community with being a gay man. It's blasphemy, and being a Christian in the gay community is, people just don't care, and people don't support you because of the way they see the Christianity as a whole. So that's hard for me. But my grandma, she's getting better. She still loves me unconditionally, but it hurt our relationship throughout my teen years. But she's pretty incredible. I still think she is, and it gets better every day, I guess. I'm okay with labels. I'm the kind of person who feels uncomfortable with not knowing things. Okay. So I need things to be organized, and I need things to fall into place. And so when people are into this idea, which is fantastic for them, but for me, I like labels. I feel safe with labels.
Have you had any experiences with bullying, either as a child or an adult?
I mean, I feel like everyone kind of does. And so, yeah, naturally I have. It was never to the point where I felt I needed an It Gets Better video. It was never to the point where I felt like I needed Lady Gaga to sing me a song. I mean, I'm glad we have those things for people who need that, but I mean, I just kind of dealt with it myself. It was just mainly, once I got to high school, things were a little bit different because I just kind of did my own thing, and I joined theater, which I've always done, but I joined theater even more, and people used to come see me perform, and then they started to respect me a lot more.
Awesome.
Because of how talented they thought I was. I mean, I think Athens is fine. I mean, but Athens is also in its own little bubble. And, one step outside of Athens, I don't know where I'm at, and I don't know how I feel. So.
So right. We then met up with another OU student, Michael Pistrui.
My name is Mike Pistrui. I'm 22. I'm a 4th year anthropology major and plant biology double major. And I work on campus at Alden Library in the Fine Arts section, and then I also work at Nelson Dining Hall.
So what do you identify as?
Gay.
Gay, okay.
I guess I could say the cliche thing that I've always known, but I guess my realization was probably, I think I was 11, and there was a new kid in my class, and I just thought he was like the most gorgeous thing ever, and I wanted to be his friend. I came out to my friends, I think I was 13. Yeah, I guess I was an early bird. But my situation is kind of unique. I went to a performing arts middle school and high school, so it was a warm environment. I came out to my parents when I was 14. My mom was just like, we were on our way to school one morning, and I was like, hey Mom, I just want to let you know I'm gay. And she's like, okay, doesn't mean you can have sex, but we'll have that talk later. It's like, okay.
Was your dad just as accepting?
Yeah, he was like, oh, okay, cool. And then he was like, what's for dinner? I think labels can be used to box other people into certain categories, and used, I guess, how people want them to be used. But at the same time, I think a label also creates a sense of community for those people.
Yeah.
There's only one time where I specifically remember this kid called me a faggot in class, which was his mistake because my good friend Aisha was also in that class, and she actually goes here now too. She like got up in his face and just started screaming at him, and he like immediately like just shut down and just like never talked to me again.
You're in a relationship?
Yes.
How's that going?
We're getting married in July. We've been together 2 years.
Wow, where are you getting married?
Well, that's up for debate right now. We're debating to just like run away to Massachusetts,
Right.
because we would like actually have like a paper,
Yeah.
like a marriage license, or New York, and then like just kind of like do it ourselves. And then we're planning on coming back here because my partner's family is from here, and they have a big property of actually having a ceremony. No, I mean the community's always been fun. It's always been really inclusive. The community to me is more of a family. Come as you are, kind of like an island of the misfit toys.
Right. I like that.
And I really enjoy it. I've never really had a bad experience. I mean, you get away from internal drama, but every group has that, regardless of your sexuality.
And for our last interview on this episode, we met up with Bill Bowers, a professional actor and mime.
My name is Bill Bowers, and I'm an actor and a mime, and I live in New York City. I would identify as a gay man, unequivocally gay, like without question. It's the surest thing I know, and I think I really feel like I was born gay. I mean, even though I couldn't have identified what it meant to be gay, even before I had was a sexual being, I knew that what I felt was different than everybody else that I was around, and that I needed to pretend, you know. Well, I knew early on, I wouldn't say that I accepted, but I knew early on that I had to play a role, and I learned that as young as, I mean, I can remember the feeling of like wanting to pick up a doll and knowing I shouldn't, and that was like, as a little kid. I remember the feeling of like my mom looking at me if I did something girlish, you know, or I'm from a big family, so I was, you know, learned early on that I was a girl, you know, like I did girly things. My brother called me Sally from a really early age, so I just knew, oh, I need to act this other way because this way people make fun of me or it makes them uncomfortable. I came out to when I went to college, I started being more out. There were no gay organizations where I lived. I went to a Christian college, although it was filled with gay people, nobody was talking about it, and,
Right.
and there was no organization. There was no organization in the city that I lived in. But I started being out to my friends, and then when I moved from Montana to the East Coast, and I think coming out happened because I fell in love. I fell in love, and I just wanted to share that with my family, and unfortunately, as it turned out, the time that I fell in love and decided to come out to my family was also right as AIDS was just skyrocketing, and so I think it was really easy for my family to equate being gay with being dead, you know.
Right.
That was what I was doing too, in a way. You know, it was such a scary time, so it was a harder time to come out, I think, because of that. Coming out wasn't so great with my family. I'm the youngest from a really big family, Western family. We're not really open about talking about a lot of things, so it was, I wrote everybody I wrote everybody in a letter and sent it on the same day, which, as it turned out, ended it to be National Coming Out Day. I didn't even know that was true then. I'm getting married this summer, and because we can be married in New York City, and my whole family is coming to my wedding. And that, the fact that A, I could ever be married legally, and B, that my family would come, are things I couldn't have imagined 5 years ago even. So that makes me very hopeful. I'm not bothered by labels necessarily. I think, I think it helps people find their community. It's interesting now, being the age that I am and working with younger students, younger people, because it doesn't seem to matter if you're gay or transgendered. Everybody seems to be fine for most places that I go to. And that's been actually great to see, but it seems like people are less labeled than they used to be, I would say. When I was bullied a lot as a kid, just like anybody who's different, I was certainly the most effeminate one in my school, and that was a big thing I got teased for. And so I was very used to like getting chased home and those kind of things. I just thought that was, but honestly, I thought I deserved it in a way, because like I didn't think things would get any better. So I just learned to compensate, like, well, I'll be funnier, or I'll be nicer, or I'll be smarter. So that's been a part of how I've just grown up, is wanting to kind of take the attention off being different and being liked for other reasons, and I thought I could survive that way, and I think I did in a lot of ways. So, but I had a lot of bullying experiences, and I also had some really sad, bad experiences around the subject of having a partner who had AIDS and being ill. At the time that he was very ill, it was surprising how ignorant people were about him and the things they would say to me, and even making fun of him on the street when he was ill and not able to walk. Things that, because we were gay and because he more evidently had AIDS. My partner Michael and I have been together for 14 years, and we met doing a Broadway show, The Scarlet Pimpernel. And yeah, I've always been a very married kind of guy, just my whole life. I've always been in long relationships, and that's just the way I am. And we met and have been together ever since. It's just the way it's worked out. I never would have thought that that's what I was going to do with my work as an actor, but it's more and more where my work has gone as a writer and as a performer. I'm just interested in being, in connecting my own history as a gay man to my writing. I write a lot of stuff autobiographically, and I like more and more telling that story about myself, about my own coming out and how I felt about myself and where I am in my life now. What's interesting about it is I didn't realize I'd be a gay elder, but I kind of am. Like, who knew? But I mean, some of that is like surviving the AIDS crisis in New York. I lost a lot of people around me, and I'm still around, and I feel like that's something I can do. That's a service I can provide, a story I can tell, is about that time. I think it's like the It Gets Better campaign. I think one thing that's so successful about that has been that you realize you're not alone, even though you can feel so terribly alone and isolated that way, that there are other people like you, and there are people who have been through experiences like you, most likely, and have gotten through it and survived and gone on to great happy lives, and I'm an example of that. I think the challenge is that today bullying is more far-reaching. I used to get chased home by a kid who threw rocks at me and called me names, but now you could, someone could be posting things about you on the internet and sending out emails that are, that could really slander you, hurt you, put you in danger, reveal things about you don't want revealed. It's just such a larger palette than there used to be. So that's just the reality of it. And I don't know where that's going to go. I don't know. We need to be better citizens on the internet. But how do you govern that? I mean, you just hope people treat each other with some respect. I guess that's all you can ask. But I know it. I definitely am one of those people that knows it gets better. And you have to find the people that, you have to listen to the voices that support you. There's lots. You can always find someone who's going to be against you. Seek out the ones that are supportive of you and love you for who you are, and listen to those places.
Tune in next week when we interview allies. Thanks for watching.